Thank you, Priya, for that elaborate introduction. Good morning to everyone. Thank you very much to Dr. Pratap Reddy Garu for inviting me. I know he has given his introduction and the way he sees me, etc. But I'm quite an ordinary person, you know, like I started my career just like how you're now starting your careers. Now, I'm here today to talk about the vision of the Prime Minister for youth. Let me start by saying that, first of all, you students are very lucky. You students are very lucky to have joined Dhruva College of Management. Now, why am I saying that? I'm saying that because you don't have just an administrator. You just don't have a head of the institution, but you have a parent in Dr. Pratap Reddy Garu. So that's why you're lucky. And in the very same way, you're very lucky to have been born in this country because you just don't have a Prime Minister in Mr. Narendra Modi. You have another very nurturing, very caring parent in the Prime Minister. So let me talk about his vision for you and how you would help India surge ahead. Well, let me start by giving three very simple examples that speak about the Prime Minister's faith in youngsters. These are from my experiences. About 2 years ago, I was invited by NIT Trichy to address the students, and they had a program in Chennai. So I flew to Chennai, and when I got down from the flight, 4 boys from NIT Trichy came to receive me. All of them had very long hair. You see, long hair like this. They wore ponytails and they came and picked me up. So I was very fascinated looking at their long hair. And when I was collecting my baggage, there is an elderly couple that is standing next to me. And the lady commented with her husband, she was saying, look at youngsters like this. These days, boys don't look like boys. They're growing hair. They're looking like women. And, she was making those disparaging statements about these boys. Well, I just collected my baggage and we all got into the car. When we got into the car, there was one boy who sat with me in the back. So I complimented all of them and I said, you have very long, nice hair. And you know what he said? He said, ma'am, we are all growing our hair very long because we want to donate our hair to cancer patients. And we cannot give short hair. It has to be at least 1 foot long. And imagine behind the so-called, hip-looking boys, there was this great intention to help cancer patients. Our Prime Minister sees the goodness of youth like that. Well, the second example I'd like to give is he believes the goodness that is in all of you. Though prima facie, you may not look like people doing so much of, let's say, service to the nation, but he sees the goodness in you. Well, the second example I'd like to give is many, many years ago, we were advisors to the water utility here in Hyderabad, almost 15 years ago. So we were working with the, water board, etc., and talking to the engineers on supply side management, demand side management, all the technical terms, etc. My maid used to tell me that water used to come to her house, not at a particular time, but any time in the day. It can come at 12 o'clock, it can come at 2 o'clock, it can come at 4 o'clock, it can come at 6 o'clock. So that used to throw her schedule out of gear and she could never plan her day. Supposing she leaves her home and comes to work in my house, the water would have come and she would have not had water that day because it's all potable drinking water. And she used to tell me, Amma, it is such a painful thing that I cannot, plan my, let's say, grocery shopping or coming to work, etc. And then we discovered that most women are facing the same problem. So there's this young bunch of people, perhaps your age, in the age group of 18 to 20. You know what they did? Those days we didn't have smartphones. So they thought of something very innovative. They went and started talking to the utility authorities, like the engineers there, asking them, sir, when would you release water to Panjagutta area? When would you release water to Chintal Basti area? You know, it's a Basti. And every day they would go and get the schedule, and they took the phone numbers of these people and started just giving SMS messages. Today water will come between 2 and 2:30. Today water will come between 4 and 4:30. So imagine that minor bit of information to these women streamlined their lives. And that is done by youngsters like you. The Prime Minister believes not only in the goodness of youth today, he believes in the smartness of youth today. Well, the third example that I'd like to give is, 2 years back, I was listening to one interview of a boy on BBC. This boy is from Iceland. He was interviewed because he came out with a very innovative product. He created a bottle made of algae, seaweed. And the idea is very simple. Plastic is really messing up the environment. So he came out with a bottle made of seaweed. You can fill the water in that bottle. You can drink the water. Then you can eat the bottle, because seaweed is edible. In fact, seaweed is the most nourishing product in the world. And this guy was given a great innovation award, and he was being interviewed. Our Prime Minister has identified similar kind of boys in India. He believes that Indian youths not only are good and not only are smart, but these people care for their country and the world. That's how much he reposes faith in all of you, the young people. Now, let me give you what he actually has as a vision for you. All through our governance in the country, we saw something called youth development. I remember 70 years of, UPA, etc. Youth development. So there were many programs on developing youth. But our Prime Minister talks about youth-led development. Youth-led development. Now, what is the difference between these two? I'll give you, just visualize something. Let's say there is a truck, an open truck, and it is being driven by the Prime Minister. And in the truck is India, with men, women, youth, everybody sitting there in equal numbers and being taken forward by the Prime Minister. That is youth development, which means the young people are also being taken forward by the Prime Minister. That is youth development. But what does Narendra Modi ji think? He wants a youth-led India, which means, look at the truck. You are driving the truck, and India is being taken forward. So you are leading the country. That is his imagination. That is his vision for people like you. And in fact, you'd be interested to know, in every speech of his, he says demographic dividend. What is demographic dividend? India has 600 million youth. In fact, we have refined the definition of youth. Before Narendra Modi ji came, it was youth were up to 40 years. But now we made it from 15 to 29 years. So it's a very targeted intervention for women, for youth. So 600 million people, and he thinks that you can drive the nation. So that is his vision. Now, having a vision is important, but how do you realize the vision? So you need to have action steps, right? So he's come out with 6 missions. that are very, very important for the country and for taking you guys forward. So let me start with the first two. You would have heard of these missions called Skill India and Make in India. You would be reading in papers about skilling India, making in India, etc. But do you know the reason why he started this? Years ago, when the world was seeing industrial revolution, industrial revolution started with the steam engine. The third industrial revolution was the most important industrial revolution. It is about electronic goods. It is about computers. What happened at that time in 80s was every country took the third industrial revolution very seriously and they started manufacturing computers. But India never bothered to do that because India never looked at skilling. India never had trained people and India never believed in make in India. We were dependent on the products made in other countries. Taiwan was making, Malaysia was making, every Southeastern nation was making, but India was not making. India, very paradoxically, strangely, and depressingly, became a market for these products. India became a big dumping ground for these products. So everywhere they go, they used to tell, India is the largest market for the goods, like, computers, smartphones, etc. So nobody realized it's an unfortunate situation. We missed the bus. We never was a part of the third industrial revolution. But we started buying them from others. Now, Modi ji wanted to correct it. So he thought of skilling you people, skilling youngsters, and pushing for the agenda called Make in India. Another very interesting thing, friends, this is something that you have to keep your eyes and ears open at all times because this is serious business. If you look at information technology, India is a leading IT exports country. But have you realized that in India, we never had products? We were working for other international companies, working stationed in other parts of the world. We were just supplying services. We never made our own products. We never patented our discoveries. So India lost it big time. Now Modi ji wants to correct it at any cost. And that's the reason why he believes that we should productize. We should come out with products. We should patent our inventions. So he's chasing all of you to become skill-oriented, to make in India. Like tomorrow, every product should get out of the country and they should see the label made in India. So imagine what a beautiful vision he has for all of us, especially the young people. Well, I spoke about two missions. The third mission is Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Seemingly when it was announced, I thought, it's again one of those, educate a girl, child, blah, blah. But this is very important. Pay attention. Every year at the World Economic Forum, all leaders come together and talk about something called gender gap report they release. Now, what is this gender gap? Gender gap is they take boys and girls from a country, assess them on 4 parameters. The first one is education. Are girls and boys educated equally? The second one is health. Are boys and girls enjoying same kind of health status? Third one is economic empowerment. Are boys and girls working in equal numbers? Is the contribution to the economy same? The fourth one is political participation. Are equal number of girls participating in elections, running for political posts as boys? This is an assessment they do. And whenever there is a big gap, like girls are less educated, girls are less healthy, girls are not participating in elections, girls are not economically empowered, then the country loses its points. India was always down below. Till Prime Minister Modi came out and announced this program, where he knows very clearly that women, if they start working in equal numbers, I'm sure some of you are girl students here. If women start working in equal numbers, the country will add 27% to its gross domestic product. Imagine the number. And not only that, if just 10% of girls become healthier, they can contribute $700 billion to the economy. You know, what is our Prime Minister's vision? To take our GDP from 5 trillion, from the current state to 5 trillion and 5 trillion to almost 10 trillion. Now that's a big dream, and that's not possible if women are not working. So if women, 10% of them become healthy, $700 billion will be added, which is, when translated, stands at 21 lakh crores. See the imagine how much the country gains when women are educated, when women are given equal footing. So our Prime Minister is doing enormous work. There's absolutely no time to discuss the number of schemes that he's announced and how we have pulled people out from their bad status to good status. In fact, today, India, one statistic I'll give you, which will shock you perhaps. From 2014 to 2020, in the last 6 years, we have trained our women in STEM. STEM, you know that, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We have trained our girls, and out of all the STEM graduates in India, 42 are women. 42% are women. Huge number. And this number takes us ahead of UK. We are ahead of United States. We are ahead of Germany. Imagine, Germany is known for its technology. That is how the power of a vision is, that too of the Prime Minister. And when he says Beti Padhao, he means business. So that is his vision for you. Well, the next mission is Digital India and Startup India. You know, when he became the Prime Minister, India was nowhere in the startup scenario. Youngsters like you were just becoming employees of other companies. Nobody really thought of creating their own startups, becoming entrepreneurs, creating jobs. But today, after 6 years of hard work and Startup India mission, India is enjoying the 3rd place in the world for startups. Can you imagine? I remember I addressed many startups and many mentors, many investors from the Silicon Valley, just I think 3 to 4 years back in Bombay. It was a huge event. At that time, I didn't have the statistic. Now suddenly you see, India is everywhere. India is just, rushing ahead with startups, and not only startups, successful startups that have become unicorns. You know what are unicorns? Unicorns are when startups start showing their capitalization they are valued at 7,000 crores, $1 billion. They are called a unicorn. We have many unicorns today in India. That is the vision of our Prime Minister. So he has created the startup. Well, the last mission that is extremely important is called Fit India Mission. You know, Prime Minister really believes in fitness. His day starts with yoga for more than an hour. And he insists that everybody should do yoga. And it can be any kind of fitness. The kind of importance is given to sports. Just one example. Why do you think in the history of India, we never got as many medals as we got this time from Tokyo Olympics? That's because the Prime Minister believes in fitness. He's created sports stadia across the country. He's picked up people who are interested in running, who are interested in other kinds of sport. He's engaged personal coaches for them. All these athletes were sent to other countries for their training. They were given extraordinarily nutritious food. He spent 6 crores on training these handful of athletes, and they came back with medals. See the interest. I remember all those years we used to sit and cry, looking at China taking away every medal, looking at America taking medals. We never dreamt of getting a gold. So that's his vision. And Fit India is, if you open any of the social media, you will find that our ministers are saying, I challenge you to walk 10 kilometers today. I challenge you to bend 100 times today. So these challenges have become a very common practice, because science today proves if your BMI, biomass index, is 25, you are an absolutely fit, performing individual. So Prime Minister is focusing on that. The second thing is yoga. You know, just imagine, yoga was what? At one time, yoga was stolen from India. They distorted it. It went to America. They changed everything about yoga, made it into hot yoga, dance yoga, everything. But now today he brought it back to the glory that yoga is. So International Yoga Day is celebrated all over the world, and it's for fitness of mind, it's for fitness of body, it's for spirituality, it's for union with God. That's how much he's worked on fitness for India, because for him, a human being has to be holistically fit to be able to contribute for his country. So now I have mentioned about all that Prime Minister is doing. Now, as I said, his vision for the country is that youth should take India forward. And he perhaps has this knowledge that back in 1997, India missed out many opportunities. It's not only the third industrial revolution we missed, we also missed a great opportunity in urbanization. In the late 90s, when every country was urbanizing rapidly, India never capitalized on urbanization. So whereas Taiwan, Indonesia, Singapore, Philippines, every small country benefited from it. So there was an article in the Time magazine in 1997. Modi ji was, of course, not here in the national scene. The article, it was a cover page story, and it said that India is an epic story of wasted promise. India's epic story of wasted promise. So if India had urbanized sensibly at that time, we could have been one of the leading countries today. See, the world today, you must understand as students, the 18th century was the century of Europe. You remember all our grandparents and grandparents used to go to Europe, UK, etc., when they became doctors, etc., because that was flourishing at that time. 19th century is the century of Americas. Then everybody started moving to America, the land of plenty. But now we are in the century of Asia. Everybody is looking to Asia for development. Singapore is the hub for innovation today in the Asian region. So Asian tiger, India is an Asian tiger country. Our Prime Minister knows that we need to capitalize on whatever strengths we have. We miss the urbanization, but we will not miss the youth power, because India is the youngest nation today with 600 million youth, and he wants to capitalize on that. And that's why he's come out with these big programs saying that youth-led development. And believe me, if we succeed, the Time magazine will have a cover story that says, epic story of delivering on promise. The epic story of India of delivering on promise. And it will not have the Prime Minister's face, believe me. It will have your faces. Because he believes that he should be the driver of change, and he will project you as those leaders who brought in this change. So expect to see your faces on Time magazine if you contribute to the development of India. And he expects that all of you should participate in all these missions that he's announced. A Swachh Bharat, Keep your city clean. Keep your neighborhood clean. Keep your college clean. Start with that. He wants you to be participative. Participate in smart cities. Think of any kind of a solution that you find. So give to the government. Look at all the missions he's announced. Extraordinary missions. And if you participate, you will take India forward. So expecting to see your faces on the Time magazine with India having moved forward, surged forward, and youth leading that particular change, and the Honorable Prime Minister being a facilitator and a change agent. Okay, thank you very much.